Welcome back to the channel, and today we got 10 knives that I would buy again. And I'm saying this if I lost it, say it was stolen, I broke it, or I gifted it to somebody else, I would replace these knives because I like them that much. I tried to keep them under the $150 price point just so more people can afford these. And let's get started. First up, we have the Miguron Keryx. This is the budget version of the Keryx, and I love the overall profile and the utility aspect of this knife. It has contoured micarta scales, you have a flipper, and you have that blade hole that works great for reverse flicking. I can choke up, but it's more of a large sharpening choil. But that blade shape is just excellent for doing tip style work. It's not as slicey as I would like it, but for the $60 price point, I think you're getting an outstanding bargain. You even get a milled titanium pocket clip on here. You have a flipper ramp, stuff you see on more premium knives, and Miguron is given to us in a much more budget package. Excellent action, riding on bearings. This is an overall outstanding knife. I did a video on it not too long ago, and I've been carrying it a good bit since. Number two is the Oknife Rubato 2. This one kind of surprised me. It's kind of like the Kizer drop bear with a different blade shape. You have a similar handle, very similar, and I think that's what they were going for here. This one has a clutch lock, this one doesn't, but the tension on the mega springs is dialed pretty darn nice. You have canvas micarta scales that offer some traction. You have a deep carry, reversible pocket clip, thumb stud deployment, which I love, black washed 154 cm blade, nice, effective long row of jimping. Another excellent utility blade there. Easily get that tip onto things. Very powerful in-hand cuts. And the 154 cm has held up really well for me. I like the overall look of it. Beautiful action. And you have that robust crossbar lock to top it off. Number three, we have the CJRB Hectare. I reviewed this one a couple of weeks back, I think it has been now. And I think this is another one that's an outstanding bargain. If you're looking for a crossbar lock, this is an excellent way to go. This will only cost you $50. You have peel ply G10 scales, reversible deep carry pocket clip. You have a thumb hole deployment. And I'll tell you what, the crossbar lock tension on the mega springs on this one is dialed in perfection. I mean, it's strong without being too overly strong. You definitely have some confidence in that spring there. And then you have this nice drop point, almost spear point blade there that's nice and slicey in their proprietary AR RPM 9 stainless steel, which I've done tons of testing on it. And it's excellent budget steel. It's not going to wow you if you're into the high-end super steels, but for what you're paying here, it definitely does an outstanding job. You know, for 50 bucks, it's very lightweight. It's an excellent EDC size for most people. It's got an excellent sharpening choil. You can kind of choke up there, but it's more of a sharpening choil. Yeah, overall package on this one is a win for sure. Balance point is absolute perfection there. Feels very light and nimble in hand. Going up a little bit more in price, we have the Vosteed Nightshade, and this is the one in Elmax. I love this knife. So you have the flipper tab and the blade hole. And if you glance at that flipper tab, you'd be like, that's going to be a terrible flipper because it's sitting below that pivot pretty much if you grab it here. But the detent is dialed in beautifully on this, and it rockets out. Nice and smooth action. You have that hole deployment as well. Very comfortable because you have contouring on those scales. And even if you don't like the look of this knife, if you want a good user, something that's going to perform excellent at just about anything you use it on, this is the way to go. That tip sits down, so it's easy to do drag cuts. When you're cutting material in hand, say you're breaking down a box or cutting through rope, this almost it's acting like a recurve because whenever you're pushing down, that belly is going to get deeper and deeper into what you're cutting. The Elmax is held up excellently. Not to mention you have that full flat grind to top it off with a nice, beautiful crown spine there. Beautiful jimping there. Now, one thing about this particular Nightshade, if you have large, extra large hands, the flipper tab might make it a little small for you in hand. I still have a little bit left over, but if that is the case, they do make a more budget version of this without the flipper tab that'll allow you to get closer up, more hand room. But for me, my medium-sized hands, this is a perfect EDC knife. Beautiful action. This particular one has titanium bolsters with JG10. Not my favorite combo here. I've been thinking about swapping it, the micarta, onto this one. Both of these are in Elmax. Both of them are beautiful knives. This one has a little scroll work, laser engraved onto the brass. They also have one with copper bolsters. Yeah. All these knives will be linked down in the description. They will be affiliate links, so if you want to help support what I do here on this channel, that is one way to do so. Number 5, we have the Civivi Amirite. This one has continued to impress me. It's got Pure Ply G10, deep carry reversible pocket clip that is in set. You have the hidden lanyard post back there, hourglass standoffs. This one's a button lock, and talk about a snappy button lock. I mean, this thing wax out. It does have a little bit of stick, but for me, it's the stick that I like. It's giving me more confidence in that button lock that it's going to stay locked up for me. This one has another excellent utility blade, full flat ground Nitro V steel. You can choke up on this one. This should fit your large, extra large hands beautifully. This is a bigger knife. If you're looking for a good work knife, I think this would be a good option. You have the thumb studs and you have the flipper tab. Yeah, overall, excellent little package here. I grabbed this one a lot to break down boxes, get into boxes and stuff like that. This one will definitely do an excellent job there. You got that tip to lead on whatever you have to do. Pull cuts. Like I said, in-hand cuts, this thing's really going to excel as well. Overall, outstanding knife. Number 6, we have the Kizer Mini Roach. And I think this was either my number 1 or number 2 pick whenever these first came out for that year. Kizer nailed it on this one. You have the honeycomb pattern on the G10. You got this green G10. I think it also comes in a black, maybe micarta, I'm not sure, or maybe G10, I don't know. Yeah, it comes blacked out, but this is the one. I've had both of them. This is the one I choose because the D10 on this one was dialed perfectly. The black wash one, the D10 was pretty heavy on it. Comes with a deep carry tip-up clip. Now, it is right-hand tip-up only. Now, you have this blade hole that works excellently. And if you see right here, it also comes with a flipper tab, but it's a removable flipper tab. I've removed it because I enjoy the blade hole the most. I didn't need both of those on this one, even though it flipped great. I love that placement of that blade hole. You have a drop point 154 cm blade that has a nice deep hollow grind. We just don't see a whole lot of hollow grinds in these production knives anymore. And I love when Kizer does these deep hollow grinds. This one's nice and thin behind the edge. It slices very well. And it has a nice, beautiful raw stone wash finish. Another thing that Kizer does really well. I would love to see them do this more often. So come on, Kizer, give us more of these deep hollow grinds and more of those beautiful raw stone wash finishes. This is a very comfortable knife, the way this handle's shaped. I can choke back right here, my medium-sized hands, my pinky fits there really nicely, or I can choke all the way up. So if I want some more controlled cuts to that edge, I could do that as well. Number 7, we have the QSP Swordfish. And I'll be honest, this one grew on me. At first, I wasn't feeling it whenever I first got it out of box. But the more I carried it and used it, the more I started bonding with this knife. This one has the micarta scales. It has a flipper and a thumb stud deployment. And mine is dialed perfectly. This thing rockets out. And look at that wicked Wharncliffe blade. If you like Warnies, this is a super bulky tip on this Warnie. 14C 28M blade. It is held up excellently. I do wish they would have given us a little bit more sharpening choil, but I could add that myself. Yeah, excellent action. Solid button lock. I've spine whacked it. It's good. We got a wire pocket clip that is reversible. Overall, great knife here. Number 8, we have the Kansept Nesstreet, and this one kind of surprised me because I reviewed this Nesstreet first. This is the micarta version that has S35VN steel, black wash finish, and I liked it a whole lot. However, this one's $150. This one came out not long after. It's got the multi-layered G10 peel ply on top. You have the red layer underneath. They have other colors. You can also get it in a solid micarta, but this particular one has a 154 cm blade. I like 154 cm. It's an excellent steel, especially when done right. I love this black wash finish that really brings out the lines of the grinds there. It looks really nice in my opinion. This one is even smoother. snappier. And overall, I choose this one because this one costs $77, 154 cm. This one is $150, pretty much $149 with the S35. You know, there's not a huge difference that I really notice when using these two. So for me, it's definitely going to be this one. I love the Nesstreet. It's very, very comfortable in hand. You have that low tip drop point, so you have just the right amount of belly to cut stuff on a flat cutting surface if you need to. In-hand cuts are going to be very easy. And if you need to use that tip to pierce into something, you could easily do that as well. Yeah, the Nesstreet is super smooth, super snappy, super comfortable. Excellent buy. Number 9, we have the brand new Bestech Lg Slasher. And I'm glad they revisited this knife because the small was an ergonomic hot mess for a lot of people. And they redesigned some things, and this is the finished product of that. And I really, really like this knife. This is the only knife on this list that is in D2 steel, but Bestech does a very good job with their D2. It has contoured micarta scales. This is blue canvas micarta. Nice and grippy. It's some good micarta as well. You have the wire pocket clip that is tip up reversible. And that right there, for me, has helped out the ergos on this knife. The small made the pocket clip land in your palm and it was uncomfortable. Well, my medium-sized hands sit in front of the hump on that wire clip, so it's very comfortable for me. It's got, this particular one has a beautiful raw stonewash finish on it. Nice sheep's foot blade. Beautiful crossbar action. Nice robust lock. I love a thumb stud deployer. Overall, this knife performed well. It's a tough knife. This would make a great work knife. This particular version, $65, but right now at Blade HQ, there's one with black micarta with a stonewash blade that's going for $50. It's on sale. So that would be the one I would go with, but that's just me. But if you want one of the colors, I still think this is well worth $65 for the way this one performed and the way that action is, how it feels in hand. Overall, solid build quality. Yeah, it's a good one. This last one I just reviewed not too long ago, but I brought it on the small trip with me and I carried it a good bit. This is a TRIVISA Columba, and this one kind of wowed me. My favorite TRIVISA budget knife to date. And I've viewed quite a few of the TRIVISA budget knives. This one has just been very impressive to me. So you have a well-placed flipper tab that's almost right on top of that pivot. So you have tons of leverage there. This thing rockets out. You have a beautiful drop point. I went with the black wash. They also have it in a satin finish. That gray G10 that's cheaper than this one. And then they have satin finish with brown micarta as well. I just like the look of this one. This pretty much full flat grind. You know, you have that swedge, but other than that, it's a full height flat grind that comes down nice and thin. I think it's like 14 thousandths, somewhere in that area behind the edge. This thing performs so well. 14C 28-inch steel, so you can get a ridiculously sharp edge on here. Tough steel. And this is a big knife. Here it is next to the Ontario Rat 1, pivot to pivot. So it's got about the same amount of blade as the Rat 1, a little bit shorter of a handle, but this thing is deceivingly lightweight. It's got partial stainless steel inset liners there that have been skeletonized, so you don't have a whole lot of bulk in your liners. It's very light in hand. It's perfectly balanced right there, so it feels even lighter than it actually is. Overall, I could highly, highly recommend this one and all the other knives on this list. Well, that will conclude today's video. If you have any questions about anything in particular, please ask me down in the comments. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day today. I will see y'all on the next one. Hoo-yah-hoo-ba-see!